Mark DeCarlo has been to all 50 states and every town in all of those 50 states. So if you have any questions on what would be fun in any of those states on any of those trips, who would you ask, Mark?
I would ask me. I've met every American, Steve.
You have?
I have. I thought the way we could start today is by sharing some travel tips.
Oh, you got a couple?
I've got a couple because, traveling these days is just, it's brutal, and there are certain ways to make your trip more enjoyable. Now, back in the day, Steve, I'm sure you didn't do this, but a lot of your friends probably tried to travel with contraband packed in their luggage.
I still do that.
Okay. It's not safe now.
Oh, it's not?
No. They go through your luggage, they root through it, and, back in the day, the contraband used to be pot and puppies. Today, toothpaste and hair gel gets you in trouble.
Right, and I have a lot of that. I actually carry with me at any given time over 37 tubes of toothpaste.
Yeah, well, and it works for you. You have some of the freshest breath in radio,
yes,
and I'm not just saying that.
Yeah, not just because we made out last time you were here.
No, but what I've taken to doing now is I'll keep a pair of dirty underpants. I'll pack it at home. And whatever you're trying to hide, you wrap that in the dirty underpants. And then, if they find it, they've earned it. You know what I'm saying?
So is there a name for this theory?
Yeah. I call it the duty dodge.
The duty dodge.
Yes, but please, the underpants have to be very, very dirty.
Right. You have worn them maybe singularly for maybe 3 to 6 weeks.
Maybe while playing sports.
Yes.
And you want to get here's a good test. You zip up your bag, you let it sit for 20 minutes, then you open the zipper, and if you don't go, oh, you didn't do it right.
I like that. All right, so wrap up your airline contraband in dirty underwear.
Very dirty underwear.
Got anything else?
Yes. The TSA, the fine people that are protecting our lives at the screening place, they love jokes.
They do?
The fastest way to get yourself through that screening is just start cracking jokes. And, that's it. Do you have your boarding pass? Find it. And you hide it in a pocket like Ray Rayner used to do. They love that. Because think of it from their perspective, Steve. They're seeing people like cattle moving through there all day long. You want to be the one person that sticks out as a cheery, funny face.
Well, you tell me if I'm right about this because you're the expert here. Right. You're Captain Fun.
I am.
Would I bring along, say, a magician sort of kit where I would have scarves and handkerchiefs where I could go find it?
Absolutely. And what you do is, in very quick, jerky motions, pull things out of hidden pockets.
So like a dove?
A dove would be good. A pigeon would work. And kind of a compounding of the duty theory, pull a pair of dirty underpants out of your pocket.
Well, then your contraband would fall out.
No, a different pair of dirty underpants.
I see. So carry more than one.
Yeah.
By the way,
if you have 2 pairs of underpants, the less dirty of the 2.
I see. Yeah, dirty underpants B.
Right. They love the jokes.
And before we go to the phone calls, is there a third tip?
Well, yeah, Steve. Actually, a lot of these low-cost airlines that, like Southwest, you get on the plane and you have to pick your seat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I hate talking to strangers on airplanes.
Well, let's be honest. You're not a big fan of people in general.
No, I hate people, Steve.
Right.
Everyone knows that.
Right.
Some of my best friends will tell you that.
Right.
Once I find a seat on a plane, I want the next seat to me to be completely empty.
That's your seat because you called it.
Right. Well, people see me. They want to sit and celebrate the highlights of my career with me for 5 hours as we fly across the country. I'm not into that, Steve. So what I do is what I like to call FTB.
Let me write this down. F as in Frank, P as in Peter, B as in Bob.
T.
F as in Frank, T as in Peter, B as in Bob.
No, FTB.
Yeah,
F as in Frank, T as in trio, B as in boy.
Got it.
It's fake tuberculosis. You sit down, and as people are coming on the plane, oh, God, oh, take me now.
That's horrible.
Oh, but it works like a charm, Steve. Works like a charm.
And the amazing thing is, not that many people get TB anymore, so that would make it even more frightening.
Because they don't have the antibodies. You're right.
Right.
Also, you might want to eat a clove of garlic on the way to the airport so that when someone says, "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" you look up to them and go, "No, why don't you sit here?" Those are just three, off the top of my head, easy keys to making the travel experience, getting from point A to point B, a little more enjoyable.
Well, Captain Fun, you're the expert here, but Leslie, you know this. Leslie Collington, Traffic Central.
Sure.
And she's traveled with me before. And,
oh, really?
And I like
all those rumors are true.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I like to engage in mocking of my fellow passenger. And I'd be curious if you like this. And if you don't like it, I'll drop it. But let's say I'm sitting there. I've got the open seat next to me. You come on the plane, and you come in, and you go, "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" And then I look at you and go, "Excuse me, is this seat taken?"
Oh, yes, the older brother. I used to torture my brothers with that all the time. Just repeat everything they say.
Right. So let's play that out for a second, okay?
You're going to be you, and I'm going to be the
I'm sitting there. And we've gotten to a point where it's open seating. You're walking on the plane. You see the seat. I seem like a nice guy. You
Excuse me, sir, is this seat taken?
Excuse me, sir, is this seat taken?
I said, is this seat taken?
I said, is this seat taken?
Homo says what? See, I would play it back on you. But that's just me.
That's because you're a professional.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
By the way, how ironic would it be if you actually said that today and the guy that was asking if the seat was taken would be that Reverend Haggard guy? That would be really unfortunate.
Can I tell you how shocked I was to find out that there was a hypocrite evangelical minister in this country?
I know. Listen. All right, now people are standing by and they have questions. Again, Captain Fun simply needs to know where you'd like to go and what you'd like to know about that place, as in what's fun there.
Right.
All right, Mark.
There's a lot of not fun places to go, Steve, and we want to steer the listeners away from them.
Well, I know this isn't one of them. Mark's in Aurora on WGN. What question do you have for Captain Fun?
Well, before I tell him that, another way to keep the seat empty next to him is he could take that really dirty pair of underwear he's got in his suitcase and just put it on the seat next to him. That'd probably do it, too.
Yeah, but then you forget it. You've got to get other dirty underwear for the trip home.
I'm sure he could work up another pair before he comes back.
Well, you've got more faith in...
Or you could be mopping your brow with it and offer it to him, the guy on a hot day.
Captain Fun. I'm going to Iowa City for a week, and I've got a grandson out there to entertain. How can I do that in Iowa City?
How old's your grandson?
2.5.
2.5. Iowa City for a grandpa and his 2.5-year-old grandson.
Oh, there's a great strip bar there. It's called, of course I kid. Actually, Iowa City is the hippest city in all of Iowa. I went to college for 2 years in Des Moines, and it was the longest lifetime I've ever spent.
But you always wanted to be in Iowa City?
Well, Kurt Vonnegut taught writing there. It's a great city. You want to go downtown. Most of the things, because it is a college town, Mark, center around drinking. And let's be honest, there's nothing else to do in Iowa.
Well, what if you had a sippy cup? Like a sippy cup for the 2.5-year-old?
And are you single, Mark?
He's gone.
Okay. Oh, well then, that's sad.
No, I don't mean he's died. He just had to hang up.
I'm like, wow, how does Steve know? You're like death. He dials into your show and he dies. The Field House is a great bar there. They have really good food. If you're there on a football weekend, for God's sakes, take the kid into the Field House. Get him 3 fingers of 2% milk. You sit there, have a nice cold beer, and root on the Hawkeyes. That would be very fun.
And no one would look askew at Grandpa for bringing the little tyke into this bar?
Are you kidding? In Iowa City, you stick a cigarette in the kid's mouth and no one would look twice at you.
All right. See, this is why we turn to Captain Fun.
It's the hard-working breadbasket of America, Steve.
All right, Rich is in Elmwood Park and on News Talk 720 WGN. Now, Rich, you want to go to one of the great stops in America. Where do you want to go?
Well, besides falling in, what can I do at Grand Canyon?
What would be fun to do at the Grand Canyon?
Do you yodel, Rich?
Yeah, that's not bad. Rich, do you yodel?
Yodel?
Apparently not.
Okay, all right. You want to take, they have a mule ride down to the bottom, but that's passé.
Okay.
What you can do you have rollerblades?
Yes, he does.
Strap the rollerblades on and a blindfold and just point yourself down as you can slalom to the bottom. And by the time you get there, you'll be nice and sweaty. You take a nice dip in the Colorado River, making sure to remove the blades before you do so you don't sink.
So, again, your advice for the Grand Canyon, blindfold yourself and rollerblade to the bottom.
Oh, it's nature's thrill ride, Steve.
Do you remember when we were kids, we
Sure.
had a thing, no, I don't mean you and I like together. We had a thing called a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Do you remember the Super Bowl?
Sure, and the Green Bay Packers would win every year.
Okay, that's the part you didn't need to bring up.
Oh.
But we had the Super Bowl, and the reason it was called a Super Bowl is because it would bounce crazy high.
Right.
So how fun would it be to stand at the rim of the Grand Canyon and throw, say, 20,000 Super Bowls into the Grand Canyon?
Oh, that would be fantastic. And I'm sure all the endangered species that live in the Grand Canyon would enjoy it too, Steve. There'd be baby otters choking to death on Super Bowl.
Wait a minute. Baby otters live in the Grand Canyon?
They would if they could.
Dave is in Arlington Heights and on News Talk 720 WGN. Now, Dave, you have a Captain Fun question?
Yeah, I do. You said you know everybody in the United States at least.
Yes, I do.
Do you know me?
Yes.
All right. Glad we could clear that up.
Well, geez, Dave, I can't. You've forgotten me already? You described me first.
All right, Dave, can you tell us who Captain Fun is and what he looks like?
He's around 5 to 7 feet tall and he has certain colored hair and eyes.
All right, see, now Dave's poking fun. Dave was actually, I play cricket, as you know, Steve. And Dave, they call it the squatter, the guy that sits behind the guy with the bat and catches the ball as it bounces in across the grass. Dave and I went to the regional finals in Waukesha, Wisconsin last year, and we got beat by a team of encephalitic dwarfs from Iowa City.
Is that right, Dave?
Isn't it funny how it's a cycle, how life just turns around and comes back at you?
Oh, it's a small world, Dave. How are the kids?
It's a very small world. Captain Fun, once again, you've proven yourself to be invaluable.
Thanks, Steve.
Do you know what invaluable means?
No, I don't.
It's the opposite of valuable. I have one last question for you, Captain
Sure,
Fun. I'll let you
Steve.
go. This is from the email. Amy writes, Captain Fun, travel tips for Lansing, Michigan. My in-laws are there, so I've been there quite a bit, and I can tell you it's, her words, not yours, Captain Fun, it's, quoting now, a god-awful place.
Yeah. Well, what you want to do is you want to go to East Lansing, which, if you're in Lansing, is to the east of where you would be.
All right. Well, what if you're facing north?
If you're facing north, go left,
All right, got it?
young man. And you want to go there during the Cherry Festival, which is usually on the 4th of July weekend every summer. They grow more cherries in the Lansing area of Michigan than anywhere else in the country, and they have cherry everything: cherry pies, cherry lip balm, cherry underarm deodorant, cherry Garcia. There's streets named Cherry. You can go on airplane cherry rides. You can even break your fast if you haven't been eating for a while and have some cherries.
Well, you know what's incredible, Captain Fun? Sometimes, and I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes you know too much. That's all I'm saying.